Is my mic on? Can you hear? Yes. Good. Welcome to the June meeting of the Residents Board. Our president, Sharon Schachter, has had a medical procedure and she is not going to be with us today. So I hope you would keep her in our prayers. Let's have a brief moment of silence. Amen. Madam, do we have a quorum?
We do.
Well, good. I assume everyone has seen the minutes for the May meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, they stand approved as read or as distributed. Treasurer's report.
Good morning. We began the day or the month with $38,190. We had income from the chorus of $505, from Employee Appreciation Fund $1,800, memorial leaves $200, and interest $7.75. We spent on the wood shop supplies $108, a gift for the chorus $125, engraving on leaves $32. I voided a Christmas check for $5.99, and we handed out graduation gifts of $4,450, and the graduation gifts went to 21 culinary employees, 1 to a person in rehab and 1 to a person in the nursing area, leaving us a balance of $36,587. Out of the 23 gifts, I received 2 thank you notes, and I'd like to read them to you. Thank you for your very thoughtful and generous graduation gift. I appreciate your kindness and support as I reach this milestone. I am grateful to be a part of such a wonderful and supportive community. It means so much. Thank you. And that was from Ashley Pipes, and she works in our nursing area. The second one, I sincerely appreciate your generous graduation gift and your thoughtful gesture during this meaningful time in my life. Your support and encouragement have made a lasting impression, and I am truly grateful for your kindness. Thank you once again for celebrating this important milestone with me. With love, Elizabeth Forrester, and she works in rehab. So, does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you and have a wonderful day.
Scott, Executive Director's report.
You know, like some of you may have thought, 2 out of 23 is not a high percentage, but think of that age group. I know that they're thankful, and they probably show you every day how thankful they are. It makes me think of those male, it seems, that are afraid to write their essays for scholarship offerings. Probably just like that, they're not used to writing thank you notes and cards, and the mail servers for sure. But thank you so much for that. I've got some hiring updates. Our new Director of Nursing in Willowbrook Court, Madeline Terry, has joined our team, and you will have the opportunity to meet her at the June 26th forum meeting coming up. And then the big news, last Friday I put out a letter about a new addition to our team. It's the General Manager and Director of Hospitality position. Her name is Anna Gadban, G-A-D-B-A-N. We will be the 4th ACTS community to add this position, and the intention is to continue to provide the great service that we do, but also up it where we can. The larger communities have added this position, and us being the 4th of those communities. And this position will oversee what we consider to be, ACTS considers to be the general services areas, the maintenance, landscaping areas, security and transportation, environmental services, and culinary. I did have a resident ask me yesterday if I was putting this position in place so that I had a buffer between myself and the residents, and that is so far from the truth, because I enjoy being with all of you. So it's got nothing to do with that. It's just continuing to move forward with a lot of what ACTS is looking to do in the future, which I don't always know about, and many layers above me do know about. So I expect to see results from this position, as you all should, and know that adding this position is spread out over all residents in ACTS. It's not going to impact Lanier Village Estates, because that question was asked of me as well. Is adding this salary going to make our rate go up more than it would? It doesn't, because it's spread out over all communities. More to come with that, but Anna will be joining us on June 24th, will be her first day. She will be at the June 26th forum, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from her, meet her, ask her questions before, after the meeting, etc. But I think she's going to be a great addition to our team. She's got the heart and some great experience in high-end hospitality, and I look forward to some great ideas coming from her. Any questions about that position further? If you think of some, just email me, reach out to me. So our forum will be taking place on June 26th at 3:30 here in the auditorium. And like I said, you'll have the opportunity to meet our Director of Nursing and our new General Manager, Director of Hospitality. Our monthly Ask the Director meeting took place this past Tuesday. So you should have either received or shortly received the notes from that, the summary report. It was pretty good one, a lot of good questions, and some good responses, I think. I have confirmed the Director of Emergency Management for our county. Well, his title is Director of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Zach Brackett, he'll be speaking at our July forum. I've kind of asked him to touch on how Hall County prepares for emergencies, how you all can be made aware of weather emergencies and other emergencies by adding an app or just logging into something so that you get reports and alerts from them. And I just think it'll be good information that he's able to hand out to us and share with us, and he'll take questions as well. Vicki and Tammy are working hard to get the resident CPR class on our schedule in June. I think it's questionable for June, but it's upcoming. We're looking to get that done. We ended up having 10 team members apply for the Labor Team Scholarship Fund. That's up from 6 last year, so that's a nice improvement. Our community technology team of Jeremiah and Ethan are off and running, doing a great job for us, I feel. We were fortunate to be able to have an ACTS regional IT person join our community for a couple of weeks ago, so they were able to spend time with Ethan and Jeremiah. So that was good information for both of them. Happy Father's Day to all of you fathers. Like I said, with mothers, even if men who don't have children are such mentors to other male and females as they grow up, and thank you for all you do. Now I'm going to touch on sustainability. I've been asked to share a little bit about our sustainability committee here at Lanier Village Estates. So our committee, the goal is to reduce inefficiencies by 10% by year-end 2026. So that's not this year, but it's next year. ACTS has challenged each of its communities to find ways to reduce waste and reduce usage by both renewable and non-renewable resources. Our committee is co-chaired by residents Ed Ziesnis and Dick Bergen, along with Stephen Anderson, our Director of Property Management. So we have 4 projects we're currently working on. Project 1 is an energy efficiency study partnering with Jackson EMC. Stephen Anderson is our chair, and Marie Oakes and Albert Durden are residents that are on that committee. Project number 2 is recycling methods. Chad Whitehead is our chair, the Director of Culinary. Catherine Ferguson, Carolyn Engel, Shonda Jones, and Margaret McGlawn are all on this committee. Project number 3 is smart energy devices, and Dick Bergen is the chair with Jason Day and John Ross, currently on this committee. And project 4 is paper products reductions with Ed Ziesnis as the chair, and David Lee, and I am on that committee. So 4 good projects going on right now. We meet on a regular basis and share information, share our plans for moving forward. How do we accomplish the goals that we are set, the 10% goal? We feel like each department has been asked to review renewable and non-renewable usages of items in their departments. We want to increase awareness within our community. We're going to organize workshops on the benefits of renewable energy and waste reduction. We're going to install water-saving devices as we move forward where we can. We're going to explore the use of smart water heaters. We're going to track energy usage reductions using smart meters where we can. Install smart energy devices such as lighting and others, which we've started to input throughout the campus. We're going to use smart power strips for plug-in electrical devices and smart thermostats when we can. We're going to use smart appliances. We're going to pay attention to unpopular culinary menu items to avoid waste. We're going to increase usage of green containers, which we're trying. We're going to reduce paper usage. And we're going to use eco-friendly chemicals in housekeeping where we're able to. Questions we must ask as we review possible initiatives: is it cost effective? We can come up with a great idea, but it could be very cost prohibitive. An example might be smart light bulbs cost between $10 to $50 per bulb, multiplied by the number of bulbs that we need. That's a huge number, but you know, we get longer lifetime out of them. It's better for the environment. So we're looking into those pros and cons of ideas. Reducing paper usage, we're encouraging life engagement to use K4 and other methods than having to produce paper constantly. Maintenance has already reduced paper consumption by 1,000 sheets a month by using a digital application, so that's been great. Culinary uses approximately 800 pages monthly for weekly menus. You can pull up the daily menu on your phone by scrolling down to the bottom of the link every day. So at some point, hopefully, we'll get to where we don't have to put those out. And as we move forward towards greater sustainability, you'll be kept informed of our progress and encouraged to think green. Any questions about sustainability? I think we're on our way to doing some really good things. And as we finish out projects, we'll take on other ones. We'll try to come up with other ones. Yes?
Is the smart, with the water, is that where it turns warm immediately?
Well,
Or no?
Dick, do you have anything to share on that? Because that would be a circulating pump. Circulating pump is where it gets hot water almost immediately in a home or an apartment. Do you have anything to add to that, Dick, though? Do you touch on the smart water devices?
No, not really. There are devices. There are devices around that will monitor the temperature and how hot you have to be, and if you, for example, go away for a couple of weeks or a week, you can have it shut it off for your apartment.
Hot water heater.
Yeah, and things like that. There are lots of different devices that can vary in their return on investment, basically. And so what we're looking at is things that can be that are low cost, that can pay good dividends, and those are the highest priority items that we're looking at.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Scott. For those of you who live in the East, we had a nice rude awakening this morning. A false fire alarm went off, and then went off for about 10 or 15 minutes. Apparently a technician working on the sprinkler system set off the fire alarm. I didn't see too many folks out there though, but there were some. I even saw some in the halls in their PJs, but they didn't go outside. So it was a false alarm, and we got a notice. For those of you who get the emergency messages on your telephone, I got one, supposedly from Scott. Is that your voice?
Did Stephen identify himself? No? No? Okay. It came from Stephen, because he told me about it. I said, put out a call right away.
No, okay. Well, good. We got one. And I get emergency weather reports quite frequently from Hall County. So if any of you are interested in that, I suggest you sign up. I've been asked by many folks, you haven't asked me for any money for the Employee Appreciation Fund this year. And that's been deliberate. We didn't want the Samaritan Fund and the Employee Appreciation Fund to overlap all year long. So we're going to start asking you for money this week. You will get a flyer later on this week talking about the Employee Appreciation Fund. And we're trying to raise $150,000 this year. Last year we raised 126, but we gave out 144. Fortunately, we had a little cushion the year before, so we were able to do that. And as Marie has already reported, we've given out almost $5,000 to the graduates about a month ago. So it was interesting to hear her read the names of those who had written a thank you note. Neither one of those two were high school graduates for this year. They were college or higher than. We didn't get any from high school students. So, but we are suggesting that residents give $300 per person in order to make the $150,000 goal. We have almost 300 employees that we will be contributing a Christmas gift to. And our number of employees this year is about the same as it was last year, but previous year we jumped up about 30 because those who had been hired by an employment agency and were temporary add-on people were not official employees, and now they have been hired. Those positions have been filled with permanent employees. So the bottom line is we're trying to raise $150,000, and we'd like to recommend we can reach that goal if we get $300 average from the residents. Last year, we asked for only $200 because we had a bit over, and we got close to $300 an average from last year. So there's 72% gave last year of all residents. If we can get that up a little bit, be nice. The other thing I wanted to mention was this group of your officers had a presentation given to us on the LVE Chapel Garden Project. And all I'm going to say about it is it's going to be right outside here. They're starting work already on it. It's going to be hopefully finished in about October so they can plant the trees and the shrubs in a good weather condition. So that project is going to be ongoing. It's already started, and I just wanted to let you know that that is there. Any questions? Okay, on to committee reports. Okay, culinary, Judy Lee.
Good morning. We met on June the 4th, so this report is from actions taken at that meeting. As Scott mentioned, we have Father's Day coming up, and you've probably already figured out there's no registration required for this meal. So just please come and enjoy. On June 24th, we're going to have a breakfast for dinner theme night, which is always popular. We've had really positive feedback on both the parfait and Blint's stations at Sunday brunch, and we're going to gradually add more enhancements to that meal. A major focus for culinary right now is reports that we're running out of food early before the last 30 minutes of the service. And so we're working with front of the house servers to be sure they're letting a chef or a supervisor know that a pan is empty and there is no substitution, because there should always be a substitution. You should be able to get something to eat. So we'll continue working on that. Chad told us that he's planning a food forum, which I think sounds really interesting. It's a very relaxed and open meeting to all residents, and you'll be able to come and talk about the foods you like, foods you don't like, any other preferences, and then you'll hear from Chad directly on his goals for culinary, and sometimes we'll invite vendors to participate as well, so stay tuned for that. We always ask the members of the committee for comments, suggestions. One of the suggestions was that we have the chef the chefs, not always Brian, but the chefs, come out during the meal service and talk to people and hear firsthand what's going well and what could be improved. So we'll try and get that implemented. Also, we had concern expressed about the overabundance of chicken thighs. So we were to adopt the culinary card, the new culinary card at this meeting, but we decided to make two very small changes. On the back, there was a question asking whether you liked the card, and if it's adopted, we would no longer need that. And then also, at the top of the card, it asked for the date and time of the meal, and because that was all on one line, we found that people were ignoring the time. So we're gonna separate that into two lines. It is important that you either tell us lunch or dinner or give an actual time so we'll know which meal you're talking about. But once we got through that, we had a motion and a second, and we have adopted formally the new comment card. So I can't tell you how invaluable all your input was on redesigning that card. We appreciate you very much. And then a couple of things that other things that came up. Scott mentioned that he is in favor of us using the link to remind people as we get to the end of the month that you can use your extra meal credits that whole week. Well, you can use them anytime, but especially concentrate on using them early in the week. We have such a backup in the bistro, particularly on the last day of the month. So if you just check your balance and use them a little bit earlier that week, we think we can eliminate that backup. And also, Scott, you did mention that you're continuing to investigate the sound abatement for the bistro, see what we can do about lowering the sound volume in there. And that's it from me. Any questions? Okay, our next meeting is July the 2nd. We'd love to have you come and participate. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Housekeeping, Pam Ellis.
Hi, we met on Tuesday, May 27th, and okay, and one thing that came up was that a lot of people didn't know. You know, you can, in your regular bi-weekly housekeeping, you can substitute different things. Some people are having their bed, the sheets changed on their bed instead of dusting or, well, you can also have the floor of the porch clean, vacuumed or mopped instead of something else. And if you would like to make that swap or any other swap, please communicate by emailing Lupe. Sometimes you can tell the team, but you need to be sure that it gets written on the sheet that they have with them, pushing around on the cart. They have every day your name and apartment number and special requests on that sheet that they should be able to reference and follow. Housekeeping will be reminded to dust the lower level of furniture, like feet and lower railings on coffee tables, etc. Regarding emergency cleanup, if anything happens that involves blood, contact the front desk, or if it's in the evening, it'll go through to security, but contact immediately someone in charge so that housekeeping can come and properly deal with that cleanup. There's a continuing problem of spilled liquids in the hallways. So we need to make sure that we are using a container that has a lid on it if we're going down the hallways. And our own containers seem to work better, have lids that fit on better than maybe the cardboard tops to the coffee cups. There's a particular problem that's been noted with people using mobility assisted devices because the drink is set in a basket or something, and it may tip over and then drip as the person continues down the hall. So try to just be aware of spill drinks in our public areas. This takes up extra time from the housekeeping team, and it isn't that great for the carpets either. And residents are advised not to use our own chemicals if there's a spill or something in a common area, because sometimes then when housekeeping comes to properly clean that area, it might have a negative reaction to the chemical that's already been used. And it could discolor the carpet. Just as a matter of information, the carpets in the common areas, and of course we're talking about the apartments here, the common areas are routinely shampooed twice a year in rotation. And this happens during the night. So just slowly throughout the year, everything gets shampooed. And another thing that keeps coming up is people are reluctant to give feedback for some reason. Everybody says, oh, I don't want to get somebody in trouble. But I keep getting encouragement from Lupe and Manuel and Shanda. Please let them know. These are training issues. And these people, I see these people regularly now, and they're not vindictive. The staff wants to, in a positive way, educate and train the people to do things right. And the sooner you let them know what is not acceptable to you, the sooner they will come back to your apartment and show. You know, we had a case this week where the deep cleaning, there was a question about that, and Manuel brought back the team that did it and showed them personally under things and in the corner and on the top of things and stuff. So they really want the feedback. You're not getting anybody in trouble. So rather than just grumbling to your neighbor, you know, let them know. And our tip for the month is do your housekeepers a favor, and when it's your turn to have your biweekly cleaning, just lower your AC temperature a little bit to make it more comfortable for them while they're working. Then you can put it back when you come back home. Any questions?
What do you consider a proper temperature?
I have no idea.
I mean, some people might keep their apartment at 80 and some at 70, so lowering it 2 degrees, you're going to get a wide variety of.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to think about that. Use your best judgment.
Keep it to where you're comfortable, but they'll work through it. But 80 is warm.
They'll deal with it. Okay. You heard the master.
Thank you, Pam. Landscaping, Carol Ann Armstrong.
Good morning. We met June the 4th, and we were concerned about work orders that people were saying they put in and we didn't have them. If you put in a work order on the portal, even though there's a landscape place, you have to put them in under general maintenance. If you put them in under landscape, they just go into cyberspace. So you have to put the work order in under general maintenance, or give your work order to Julia and she puts it in. So I hope that will solve some of the problems for the people that keep saying, I put in 3 work orders and I haven't heard. The campus looks beautiful now. Of course, it's nice and green, which is somewhat of an issue because the landscape people are behind because of the rain. But the memory garden is especially pretty. The fountain is working well. The pergola has been repaired. And we are looking into some sort of glue to put on that wall so it will be more rollator friendly. The train garden looks great too. 2 sick trees have been removed and replaced. The bistro garden's looking good. It needs to be weeded, but do walk around and see all these special places. And they're working on the irrigation system and making progress. We haven't needed it yet, but Stephen expects that it will be fully operational by June the 17th. But I looked at my phone, it's supposed to rain for the next 10 days, so I don't know. We had a report on the chapel garden. Pruning is in progress all over the campus, but there again, they are behind. Are there any questions? Yes?
I'll speak loud enough. Had a problem with the work orders. You refer to this to someone who could do something about you had a question about the work orders.
So
and trying to get it out in this forum where maybe a lot of people don't see it. Did you go to anyone in the tech field asking them what they can do to correct the program so that that doesn't happen?
So I think you're referring to if someone puts in a landscape work order that goes into cyberspace. I'll look into that. There should be something that should forward it to the appropriate mailbox or whatever.
Thank you, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was an issue that we really had not been aware of because it makes sense to put it under landscape. But it didn't work.
Thank you, Carol Ann. Legislative issues, Dick Bergen.
We did not have a May meeting because it fell on Memorial Day, and at the same time, there was some events scheduled, so we did not have a meeting, so there's no report and won't be any minutes from that, but we are going to meet again the fourth Monday of the month in the meeting room at 10:30, so if you all can make it. Two things I want to talk about today, though, that your Legislative Issues Committee is involved in, and one of which I think many of you hopefully were participants in, is the Georgia DOT's widening proposal of Thompson Bridge Road between basically from Kroger to Yellow Creek Road, Yellow River Road, Yellow Creek Road, I guess, on the west side of Burryville. It does affect the entrance, and we were soliciting as many residents and as many staff to participate in comments back to the DOT. We really don't know exactly how many were done. We suspected somewhere about 100. There was great participation, we understand, from the staff. So Scott, thank you for engaging our employees here to participate. That is important. The DOT, if you can make the greatest case in the world, but if you're one or two people, that is not going to have an impact. So, but if 100 people write in and talk roughly about the same issues, it's going to have an impact. And another thing that has a big impact with DOT, and we've discussed this with the DOT on our committee meetings, is fatalities. We have not had any fatalities that I'm aware of in the last 15 years, so that works against our case. So if so let's not encourage people to participate in that part of it. But anyway, we probably won't know anything for about another year. The DOT works at their own pace. But this project is to begin in about 2 years. It'll take about 2 to 3 years to complete. So you're looking at a completion date somewhere around 2030. So it is in the future. The second thing is, how many people have ever heard of the Fifth Third Bank? Maybe a few of you. Okay, well, we're about to hear from one. Next door, where we have our storage facility, was originally was to be a car wash. We made sure that didn't happen. But what was put in its place was a medical building, and then Northeast Georgia Medical System put in a facility across the street. They're going to have 5 buildings, the first of which is there. There also is a medical building planned at the Publix, in front of the Publix area. There's a building there. So the developer, Justin Barrett, of the property next door where the warehouse is it called and wanted to know what we would like to have there. And we gave him a list of things, but one of the things we gave him was a bank. We thought that it's not going to be open at night, it's not going to be open on Sundays, it's not going to have a lot of business, doesn't make a lot of noise and everything else. So lo and behold, there is a hearing next Tuesday at 5:15 at the Government Center for a Fifth Third Bank at that location. We've looked at the plans, we've got the plans. It's considerably lower elevation than the surrounding area of Lanier Village, so there will be 2 drive-through lanes that could be used at night. There could be some headlights at night, but it doesn't appear that it's going to have any impact. The original project was required to have down showing lights, so there would be no lights that would reflect into the community at night. We assume that would continue into this area around the bank. So anyway, if you have an interest, I will be there. I will probably be there in support of this because I think we could do a lot worse. We could have another car wash to deal with. So. And I think, Scott, you may be there also, so on behalf of Lanier Village and Axe. So those are 2 things that we're working on. So anyway, any questions or comments?
Is it behind the storage building?
It is in front of the storage building. It's actually going to use the same entrance that the storage building has, and there will be a driveway that will go into the bank and basically circle the building.
So
the building will have a considerable setback from Lanier Village, so it'll probably be 75 to 100 feet away. So even any noise of a car starting or finishing or shutting off or anything won't have a lot of impact.
Yeah, it'll be between the storage building and Thompson Bridge.
And Thompson Bridge, yes, in front of the.
There's a big enough space there.
Right.
It's like 1.3 acres or something, I think it was.
1.37 acres, yeah. It's as far as I know, it's going to be a 1-story building too. It's not going to be a 2-story building, so.
I think so too. One thing I didn't even think to add to the information sheet that we put out in support of working on the intersection of Price and Thompson Bridge.
Yes.
Was the stress caused. We know what stress does to the life length. So in reality, what has happened there could have led to some deaths of our residents over the years, just because of the stress.
Right, exactly.
We know stress causes it. Should have put that in there, darn it.
Exactly. Any other questions or comments? Thank you.
Thank you, Dick. Life engagement, Karen Harden.
Good morning. I'll just start out with saying that life engagement is going to be part of the project to reduce paper. So you know all the little reminders about activities coming up. We're using a different approach. I think there are going to be sheets that Vicky's going to make that will be very colorful that you can see, and they'll be in around the mailroom, because they said west there's a table by the mailroom that it can go into, and then in east usually they hang it up or put it on the trash can where they put the Friday morning coffee. And then for the cottages, they will put it either in the kiosks or in the the communication room. So we'll have to get trained to look for the sheet that reminds us what's coming up, to cut down on paper, because they really use a lot of paper and ink, constantly sending out those little reminders. Okay, and coming up, we have which we're very excited about, the bridal salon at the Estates. And also we have the Cousins Maine Lobster and the Chicken Chase. And tickets were out there for the Shane Brothers. Also, we've updated, y'all might have noticed when I sent out, the first we're going to have an international beer day mixer. We're working on several neighborhoods we have interest in wine, but we don't know, a lot of times women included are very interested in to possibly have a beer group to go places. So we're going to investigate that. And the fun thing, we were working on a cruise week, which is in August. So we're going to have, it's the 4th through the 8th. And on the 4th, we're going to have bubbles and bingo. So you'll have your regular bingo, but at 7, but you'll have some bubbles to go with it. And on the 5th, we're going to have a scavenger hunt, which will be all day. So there'll be an award for the winner for that. There'll be clues, and it'll be inside. And also, I had put towel folding, but it's not just like in your bathroom towel fold. It's animal towel folding, like you would get special stuff. We thought that could be fun. And then on the 7th or the 6th, we have a cruise ship trivia, which of course there'll be an award for that. And also at night, we'll have a karaoke contest. So, and on the, but I think I missed the 4th, which is the first day with the Bubbles Bingo and towel folding. We also, which get your outfits ready, we're going to have a tacky tourist mixer sail away party. So there will be an award for the tackiest tourist. And the 7th, we're going to have a captain's cocktail party, and the Speakeasy Duo will be here, and that'll be a fundraiser for the Samaritan Fund. And the 8th, we'll have the return to the port at 3:30 with slides and awards will be handed out for all the contests and refreshments. So we have that coming up also. So we actually have a lot of things coming up, except you might have noticed, well, you know that we're usually off for summer on the Friday morning coffee, but also on the trips. We're working on the trips, but we're onboarding a new lead driver. So that's kind of put a kink in the booking trips, in case you wondered why. So anyway, any questions?
The lead driver's first day is today, by the way, so you might see him around.
Is there any chance of getting email blast for some of the events that we now have paper for?
Well, usually they put it in the link. Yeah, but you could suggest that. I mean, I'll mention that. So email blast, is everybody on the email? I don't think we have. A lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people don't use email here, you know, and that's why we were doing the paper. They're more paper oriented. But I guess the link and the post, you know, the mail rooms are the best way to see. Yeah, because even the bulletin boards, we noticed a lot of people just don't really look there. So I don't think we have an email, do we, for like everyone?
No, but couldn't we attach it to the link, John, and then someone can click on it and see it and print it? Yeah, that's basically the same thing. Right, so, but you're gonna get your mail daily, I think, or at least check your mailbox.
Is this on? Yeah. I think most of the floor reps have a list of who on their floor does not have email. We've only got 2 people out of 45 that don't have email, and then, so I print anything out and give it to them.
Well, that's good.
It's pretty simple, yeah, when it's only a few.
Well, I know Ray was real good with letting his floor people know what's going on, you know, and that's why I try to send everybody the list, you know, ahead of time. And, well, actually, I've sent now the list to the board, to the floor captains, also to the committee, and then this time I also sent it to the resident association. So it gets out to a lot of people. So, but if you have, you know, I don't.
Mr. Vice President, I would like to make a motion that we establish a committee to survey, study, figure out how is the best way to communicate in this community. We're fragmented. We have bulletin boards everywhere. Not everybody goes to those bulletin boards. We have the link, which is wonderful, comes out at 7 o'clock every morning, but the announcements are good for 2 days. Is that the most effective way? If we could have something like a good morning Vietnam, those phone messages that we get from your office, I don't know how difficult they are to do. But if we had a good morning LVE, today we have, and let it be audio, everybody's got a phone in that's what we need to figure out. Who doesn't have email, who doesn't have a phone? If you've got a phone, you can get K4. You can get, the information is out there everywhere. But I would like to petition the board that in the next month, we query each of the 19 of us and answer those questions of our constituents. What is the best way to communicate with you? That's a motion.
You've heard the motion. Is there a second?
Oh, I'll second it, but I'm not on the floor captain.
All right, Kay's seconded. Any more discussion on this? Tom.
when you ask someone if you're surveying, if they have email, that's one thing. But do you have email and you check it every single day? Because I have a lot of people in West Cottages that have email addresses. Only a couple don't, but an awful lot of them never read it, never check, and whatever. So don't think
Okay.
you're reaching them just because they have email.
Okay. Any other comments? Robert?
I hate to be negative here, but, you know, trying to reach everybody is a great idea, but if they don't want to be reached, you know, there's so many places now, you know, they can go to the library, get on the computer and see K4, see the link, see anything. And I know Caroline does a good job of posting it. She prints it out. Everything's available. But people, if they're not going to check their email, they really don't want to know, I think. You know, that's just the way I feel. There's personal responsibility to finding out what's going on. And I don't think we need to just bend over for those people that don't care.
Scott?
If I could jump onto the negative bandwagon. I'm on the third floor east. Everyone over there has email. And I think we're giving this organization a bum rap. We have more communication since Scott has come aboard with the residents that we've ever had before. I feel we're well informed.
Pat?
Until we get some training on K4, I think that for my group, that's really key, because a number of them have said they've tried and they don't know how to use it, or it doesn't work or something. That'd be great.
I think that's a great point. Let's get the training that's needed, see if that's effective. The communication system, like the one that went out to the East residents, that's supposed to be used for emergencies, not for like daily updates and here's what's going on. I think it's a fun idea. I like that movie too, Good Morning Vietnam, but there are a lot of ways that people can get the information.
Any more discussion? You ready to vote? I won't call the question because it sounds like with the heads you've all said, yes, I'm ready to vote. So all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
All right, let's do it by show of hands so we can count. Hey, for the ayes. Got 4. Nays.
Uh-oh.
Okay, the motion is defeated. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and be on the lookout around the mailroom for the new flyers with the information then. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Maintenance and safety, Herb Paul.
The Maintenance Safety Committee met on the first Thursday of the month, which was the 5th of June. And we always meet the first Thursday of the month. So the next meeting will be the first Thursday of July. The couple of the items that we discussed were, one was the carpet in Willowbrook, and you will recall that when the committee came through from ACTS in August, they were told and shown the carpet problem. However, right now there is no timing because there is no funding for the carpet. So it still is in the planning stage. Throughout the campus, there are 8 broken slabs of concrete. These should be replaced in the next week or two. And so you should be seeing somebody walking around pretty soon and taking care of that problem. Another item is there have been several concerns about the east breezeway, the second floor breezeway, about the temperature in that area. You recall that the problem is that the heaters that are installed there and were installed originally were undersized because somebody had used the wrong volume number to set that up. So that the solution is to replace the heaters with larger heaters. This will take place when the heaters fail, because it's a pretty costly affair to just go ahead and replace all the heaters at this particular point in time. So it will be done when they fail, and larger heaters will be put in place. The next item is the carpet in the bistro. There have been several complaints about the dirt and in the carpet going from west into the bistro and into the walk-through area. This carpet will be replaced, and it probably will be replaced not with additional carpet, but with wood this time. And that'll make it much easier to take care of and much easier to keep clean. Do I have any items that you would like to bring up? Yes.
There seems to be a problem in both the bistro and Mountain View of your shoes sticking to the vinyl flooring. Is there some kind of cleaning that could take place that would take care of that? Especially right outside the veranda room and then throughout the bistro where there isn't carpet.
It should be, but
I'll get with Shonda and her team and see Manuel and see what we can come up with.
Thank you.
I don't want to say it's dirty water, but occasionally that can happen when you're not using clean water constantly. And that's a large area. They would probably have to dump it multiple times to keep clean water in there. So I'll check with them.
yeah, I agree. Anything else? Yes.
Are we prohibited from using any money on special projects to replace that horrible carpet in Willowbrook?
I would say yes to that because that's an ACT's responsibility, not something that special projects should utilize dollars for. We did put in for it this year. I'm not saying it's not going to get done this year, but I'm going to push for it to get done this year. Start with Willowbrook Court because Oak Ridge Terrace needs it as well.
Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Herb. Memorials? ASSN?
Good morning, or almost afternoon, isn't it? We met and we made several decisions we had votes, motions and seconded and passed that we would buy a plaque to put on the bench that Ann LaGruer had in the outside of her apartment for her husband Brooks. And we're going to attach a plaque there in memory of Ann, who was a very active member in our committee and responsible for the Grove of Remembrance the Grove of Remembrance that we have now. We miss her so much and are doing that for her. Also, the leaf, the Grove of Remembrance, we have had several leaves added, and I'll list those names: Elaine Dickens, Carolyn Mason Jacobs, Joan Davis Eckerd, Claude Snyder, Naomi Dickey Jensen, Elizabeth Ellard, Joanne S. Stouffer, and Anne Meredith LaGruer. And those have been sent off and are in the process of being engraved and will be on the in the Grove soon. Also, another thing that we did in our meeting, we wanted another, one of the new benches in the garden, in the Memory Lane garden. And so we decided we have some money in that fund, and we voted to buy one of the 4-foot benches and have it in memory of the 2006 Landscape Committee, who are the founders of the Memorial Lane Gardens. There were 11 members of that committee. Larry Morris was the chairman, and on that plaque, we are planning to put the entire group that actually founded that, and there are 10 of them. Each one of those had put up $110. So the members, 10 members, and then the chairman, they put up $110 to get the first plan for that garden. And from there, they set up a fund and funded the planting of the garden, which was about $40,000. And since then, as we've had additions, we've used some of the funding that we have in the Memory Lane Garden Fund. So it's very active and ongoing. Dot Perkle is going to kind of chair that area of fundraising, and so she has some plans coming out soon. I think other than that, let me see if what else we had. I think that's it. Any questions? We do have some benches that are coming in soon. I think I've announced that before, but we do have some other benches coming, and we're waiting for those to be installed. Thank you.
Thank you, ASSN. We've heard from all the board committees, now to the administrative committees. Campus improvement, Karen Cannon.
Good morning. Some items that we've done: clubhouse renovation. All the selected furniture that we've been working with through ACTS has been delivered. There's one white accent bench that's at the top of the stairs down to the bistro, and there were 3 chairs that were card table chairs that were damaged and delivery. They have been replaced, so they're done. When a purchase order is received from ACTS Corporate, then the benches in the clubhouse and outside of the Heritage Room and the reupholstery of the 2 wingback chairs that are in the clubhouse on 4th floor next to the single elevator will be in process for that. We put a new spring and summer arrangement on the round table to welcome everybody in. I hope everybody enjoys looking at spring. Also, about the guest department in West, with utilizing furniture that was available through the ACTS storage, LVE storage units in Murrayville, and other items that we've procured from apartment sales and retired treasurers, we have updated the West guest apartment. And we all think it looks nice. I hope our guests think it looks good. Auditorium. Right now the committee's working with a new local designer on getting estimates for window treatments for the auditorium, a stage curtain, and some additional updates. And when we get some estimates for that, we'll submit them to special projects for consideration for funding. Also, we are working with Scott and Stephen on getting some additional seating outside Reservation Mountain View. I know there's not a whole lot of seating, and we pulled chairs in. Chairs were pulled in, but they didn't look like the quality that we want, so we're in the process of working for some additional seating. Now, hopefully that looks very nice too. One last thing, We have the cushions out at the bistro. The umbrellas are up. There's some that need to be put up in addition. Please enjoy that area. We have cushions for the seats. They're in the bin. They're cushions for your back, decorative cushions. We prefer you use the brown cushions to sit on, not the decorative ones, and they're all there. When you enjoy your lunch or dinner, after dinner, all you have to do is lift that seat, the cushion up, and if it rains overnight, it doesn't hurt them. But if you lift them up, then it drains off. So if you do that for the committee and for everyone else, and please enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Good Samaritan or Samaritan Fund, Jimmy?
Well, as always, thank you for the opportunity to update you on the activities of your LVE Samaritans Fund Committee. The committee held its monthly meeting on June 5th in the administrative conference room. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend, but I appreciate very much Scott chairing that meeting in my stead. Scott informed the committee that we would not be able to hold the LVE Samaritans Fund fundraiser as we had planned because we are not able to hold a raffle, as that is considered gambling. So, after considerable discussion, the committee came up with tentative plans for an alternative fundraising event, and I think Karen just briefly mentioned it in her report. That event would include, among other things, the awarding of a number of significant prizes to winners whose tickets would be drawn from we call it a fishbowl, I think, pots that would be in front of the various prizes that would be awarded. You would drop your ticket, filled out with your name and apartment number, and then winners would be drawn from those. And we're working on the number of prizes to be awarded in that manner. Those would be more upscale prizes, if you will. And we're hoping to have at least 12 in that category. After those tickets are drawn, the remainder of the tickets in the pots would be put in one drawing mechanism or bowl or whatever, and we would award lesser scale but still nice door prizes, and we're hoping to have at least 20 door prizes for that. Now that's, you remember I used the word hope. We can only give away what we can get. Because we want all the money from this event to go to the Samaritans Fund. And then Karen mentioned one item of entertainment. My understanding is that the hope will be to have 3 different groups of entertainment, at least 2, but hopefully 3. So Vicki Doherty, who, as y'all know, is fabulous at planning events, is in charge of that aspect of it. And this exciting and fun-filled event is currently scheduled to run from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Oh, I forgot desserts. We're also planning to have upscale desserts, and Karen already mentioned cocktails. So I think it should be an enjoyable evening. We're hopeful of raising a reasonable amount of money. And as you may remember, we had talked about the raffle where half the money would go to the charity for the tickets and the other half would go to the winners. This event, all the money will go to the charity. So it's better for the Samaritans Fund, quite frankly, and I think it's a great idea. We'll be meeting again the latter part of June to finalize plans. So we'll notify you once those final plans have been made. We believe this will be a most enjoyable and fun-filled evening with all proceeds, as I said, going to the Samaritans Fund. Are there any questions?
The only thing I'd like to touch on, Jimmy, is the 3 main costs associated are going to be drink, obviously, entertainment, food, and then the prizes and things. But our goal is to get some of our key local vendors to pay for the three very expensive parts of this night, and then the committee members will go out and try to come up with some great prizes as well. So that's why we're hoping no cost to take away from Samaritan Fund dollars raised.
Yes, Scott?
You mentioned the time. Is there a date?
Yes, did I not give you the date? I'm sorry. No, I didn't.
August 7th, right,
Yes,
Jimmy?
right.
7 to 9.
Yeah, August 7th.
Are we allowed to get sponsors now for things?
We could definitely get sponsors. Our goal as a Samaritan Committee is to make this an annual event, so this will be the first annual.
Well,
we can get with
I
Jimmy.
think it's great for this, but I'm wondering, like, if we want a bigger band or something too, are we allowed to get, like, you know, sometimes other place I lived, we got a financial group came and they handed out a few of their things.
Just throw
It's
some,
more our vendors.
Come see me on that because
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jimmy. That concludes all the business that we normally have. Are there any comments, questions? Or any new business anybody wants to bring up? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.